Top 10 facts about Asajj Ventress. Here we go. Number 1. Asajj Ventress, the Killer. Unrelenting and cunning, the vicious, powerful dark-side acolyte Asajj Ventress was a Dathomirian female who served Count Dooku. Bald-headed with pale skin and renowned for her brutal efficiency with her dual curved red-bladed sabers, Ventress was a gifted master of the Jar Kai lightsaber style. Along with her swordsmanship, Ventress drew on her seemingly bottomless well of rage and pain to boost her dark side abilities and become one of the most powerful opponents that the Jedi had to contest with throughout the Pan-Galactic War, and thus was one of their most interesting and dangerous adversaries. Number 2. Darth Sidious feared her. Asajj Ventress was Count Dooku's most powerful apprentice and probably the most deadly operative the Separatists had, more so than even General Grievous. In fact, her strength in the Force had only continued to grow during the Clone Wars, to such a degree that Darth Sidious began to fear her power and the threat that she could pose if Dooku and her challenged him. So the Dark Lord commanded his Sith apprentice to eliminate her. At first, Dooku was hesitant, as Ventress was very important to him, but his master soon made it clear that he had no choice. So he ordered her death. But the Sith assassin managed to escape his betrayal, though just barely. Number 3. She was a Jedi Padawan. Born into the Night Sister clan on Dathomir under Mother Talzin, Ventress was given away as a slave to the Sinatine pirate Halstead at a very young age. Taken to the Outer Rim mountainous planet of Ratatak, where the pirate made his home, Ventress was surprised to discover that her new master treated her with kindness and respect. But soon, an attack on their world by Weequay pirates left her orphaned. Surviving on the streets of war-torn Ratatak, the young Dathomirian came upon a Jedi Knight named Kai Narek, who was stranded on the planet. The Jedi was under attack and instinctively Ventress unleashed a powerful force push. Thankful for the assistance and impressed by how strong the young girl was in the Force, Narek took her in and made Ventress his Jedi Padawan. Together, the two of them were inseparable and for the next 10 years fought to protect and free Ratatak from the invading pirates and warlords that preyed on the people. Under Narek's tutelage, Ventress's power in the Force continued to grow. However, one day, while they were again dealing with Weequay, one of the pirates got a lucky shot and hit Narek in the back, killing the Jedi. Seeing her master fall, Ventress was devastated and overwhelmed with despair. Giving in to her rage, she murdered every single pirate in sight. Still a child, Narek had really been the only person that she had ever made a deep connection with, so his loss pushed her towards the dark side. Eventually, she eliminated all the Weequay leaders on Ratatak and then claimed the world for her own, as Ratatak's new ruler. Now, Obi-Wan Kenobi once told Ventress, "You have my pity, Ventress. You could have been a great Jedi Master, one of the Order's brightest lights." Number 4. Becoming Dooku's apprentice. Shortly before the Battle of Geonosis, Count Dooku, who like every proper Sith apprentice had ambitions of one day overthrowing his master, Darth Sidious. He was searching the galaxy for a potential apprentice that could help him achieve that goal. Still devastated by her Jedi Master's death, Ratatak's new dictator, Asajj Ventress, blamed the Jedi partially for Narek's fate. She held the Order responsible for abandoning Kai Narek in the first place. Dooku had heard of her activities on Ratatak and sought her out. Sometime after meeting, the enigmatic Ventress pledged herself to the Dark Count at his palace on Sereno, after Dooku promised to instruct her in the ways of the Sith, in exchange for her allegiance to him and his confederacy of independent systems, the CIS, or in other words, the Separatists. There, she would serve Dooku as his enforcer and as a high-ranking military commander during their war against the Republic. So you can kind of see the similarities, how Plagueis had the apprentice Sidious, and Sidious's Sith assassin, so to speak, his apprentice almost, we could say, or basically once Plagueis died, his apprentice was Darth Maul. And we can also see it with Sidious being the master, taking Plagueis' place, having Dooku as his apprentice, and Dooku now having Asajj. Number 5. Kiss of Death. During her time as Dooku's operative, Ventress killed many clone troopers and Jedi alike as she advanced the Separatist side of the Civil War. So when they launched a surprise attack on the planet Kamino at the cloning facility for the Grand Army of the Republic, Ventress came across a clone commander named Colt. Colt was an ARC trooper of the Rancor Battalion and supervised the training of the cadets. The clone commander, along with a small squad of troopers, were managing to hold his own against the cybernetic monster, General Grievous. But when he encountered Ventress, the dark side disciple strangled Colt with the Force before impaling the clone with her lightsaber, which isn't unusual for the assassin. But what was surprising is that she planted a kiss on his cheek as she took his life. She's kind of like the poison ivy of Star Wars. Number 6. Her creation. Asajj Ventress. Seeking vengeance for Dooku's betrayal, Asajj Ventress went to the Night Sister clan Mother Talzin for help. The powerful witch used her dark side magics to transform a scrawny Night Brother into a monster called Asajj Ventress, who was meant to aid Ventress in killing her former Sith master. Apprentice was then given to Dooku as his new dark side acolyte, but was really under the control of Ventress and Mother Talzin. Asajj wanted to use him to spring a trap for Dooku, where together they would slay the Sith Lord. However, the Dathomirian Night Brother broke through her spell and turned on Ventress and Dooku before making his escape. Asajj's plans for revenge failed, and Asajj Ventress ended up joining forces with his long-thought dead brother, Darth Maul. Number 7. Teaming up with Obi-Wan Kenobi. Speaking of which, when Darth Maul and his brother Asajj Ventress found each other, they planned their revenge on the Jedi and the Sith, and began to accumulate the power they needed to form their own criminal empire. Ventress came after her former pupil and found herself in an unusual situation when she had to team up with her frequent enemy, Obi-Wan Kenobi. Completely out of options, Ventress and Obi-Wan had no choice but to trust each other, as they both engaged the Zabrak Night Brothers in battle. Obi-Wan was going face to face with the man who had killed his old master Qui-Gon Jinn, which overwhelmed him with anger and emotions that unbalanced his fighting abilities. Though the duel was fierce and Maul was in possession of Obi-Wan's lightsaber, it soon became clear to both the Jedi Master and Ventress that they were outmatched. So, they had no choice but to retreat, though Kenobi did manage to get his lightsaber back before the end of the battle. Number 8. Aiding Ahsoka Tano. After a terrorist bombing on the Jedi Temple, a radical anti-war activist, Letta Termond, who assisted in the attack, had been choked to death by the Force. Ahsoka Tano was framed for the murder and the bombing, but the deed had been masterminded by a disillusioned Jedi Padawan, Barriss Offee. Trying to prove her innocence, Ahsoka had gone on the run and went to find answers in the Coruscant underworld. There, the apprentice of Anakin Skywalker came across Asajj Ventress, who by this point was no longer Dooku's enforcer, but was working as a bounty hunter instead. Perhaps because Ahsoka's situation reminded her of Dooku's betrayal against herself, which had forced her to go on the run, Ventress decided to help the Togruta Padawan, even if there was no profitable reason for her to do so. Number 9. The Bald Banshee. As a bounty hunter, Ventress soon garnered an impressive reputation and became known as the Bald Banshee. In part, the moniker came from obviously her shaved head, but also because the name of her ship, which she had made her home. This was called the Banshee. Equipped with a new lightsaber with a yellow blade that she got off of the black market, Ventress teamed up with a very young Boba Fett, along with several other hunters for a job on the Inner Rim planet of Quartzite. Initially, someone else was meant to join their crew, but Ventress took his place after she killed him. The bounty hunters hired her as the replacement, and therefore, whenever Ventress discovered that the chest they were hired to guard actually contained a kidnapped girl named Pluma Sodi, who the leader of the Quartzite had captured to be his bride, she no longer was interested in completing the mission. Ventress freed the girl and shoved Boba Fett into the chest instead. Determined not to hand Pluma over to her husband-to-be and kidnap her, the former Sith acolyte returned the girl to her brother, where she was safe. However, Ventress still managed to collect the credits. Number 10. She fell in love with the Jedi. Though she had worked in a group with Boba Fett, Ventress preferred the solitary life, as she had a long history of abandonment. While on one of these solo missions, Ventress came across another criminal who was actually a Jedi Master named Quinlan Voss, who was undercover. He identified himself as a killer for hire to get close to Ventress in the hopes that she could lead him to Count Dooku. Voss was under orders from the Jedi High Council to assassinate the Sith Lord. At first, the two of them were forced to partner up after Ventress had completed her bounty. As they continued to work together, the Dathomirian began to develop romantic feelings for Voss. feelings the Jedi shared mutually. When she finally learned his true identity, she didn't run away. Instead, the two of them became lovers. As to what happened with the Dooku assassination mission, well, it might be spoilers for the book Star Wars Dark Disciple, but the actual story is based on the unaired 8-episode arc from the original, never completed final season of the Clone Wars before Disney bought Lucasfilm. Essentially, what happened was Dooku shot some Force lightning at Quinlan Voss, and Ventress jumped in the middle of it to save his life, and resulted in her dying. I hope you enjoyed this top 10 facts about Asajj Ventress. She's a really cool character and a super powerful one at that, and a really transformative character arc. Hope you enjoyed this video. Leave a like if you did. Catch you in the next episode of Star Wars Theory. Until then, remember, the Force will be with you always.